Prepare to witness inexplicable supernatural phenomena in these videos. Let's dive in. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications to receive our new videos. The farmer Thomas from a small American village claims he accidentally captured a photo of aliens working in the field. The only evidence of his encounter with these unknown beings is a mysterious image depicting something unusual. We appear to have an alien encounter. What are your thoughts? I understand there are several details about this. Did the farmer really come across aliens, or is it simply a common hoax? Or maybe you have a different explanation. What bothers me about the previous story and leads to some skepticism about anything else is the high quality of the image. It seems like the man took a photo of the aliens using a professional camera and was able to focus and choose the angle. So it must have been fake. When you have a truly amazing relationship with something, you won't experience these possibilities. The footage depicts the following story. These men confirm that they saw a strange being in the Argentine province of Salta, which they describe as looking like a dwarf. The video they filmed sparked media reactions, drawing on local legends. The story begins when the young men are standing and talking in a place not far from the house. It was the middle of the night. They were about to disperse, but then they saw a small, mysterious being launch from one of the nearby houses and disappear into the bushes. From all the stories, it appeared to be a dwarf wearing a top hat. The momentary beam of light revealed its thick fur. On his head, according to reports, there is a hat, and his legs are short. However, this does not prevent him from moving swiftly and disappearing within seconds. The greatest cause for concern arose from the fact that the video was filmed dozens of meters away from the cemetery. This observation was also made by fans of paranormal events, who were convinced that the figure captured in the video was the embodiment of death as a dwarf. A man named Pierre recorded these clips. This is all the information available about him online. One day, he decided to review the camera footage at his home in Brazil. It was late at night, and everything around him was shrouded in darkness. He expected to see only empty streets. He mentioned that watching the surveillance footage brought him comfort, but he noticed something unusual that day. When he focused on the display screen, he could not believe his eyes. He saw a very strange green silhouette. The figure was clear against the black background and looked like an alien. It was sitting on a wooden chair as if waiting for someone. Pierre closed his eyes and turned his gaze from the screen to the window, but he didn't see anything unusual. The night was quiet, and his garden looked just as it always did. The man spent several hours trying to understand the situation. He also called the police to report the strange incident. However, when the police arrived, no one was there. The police concluded that it was a hoax or a video interruption. Do you agree? As for me, everything seems clear. Furthermore, the video footage was checked several times for editing, and each time it appeared to be unaltered. Our upcoming video is unlike the others. The main character is an ordinary boy named Nico. I believe that he isn't interested in creating fake videos or making noise on the internet. He has different interests. As a result, Nico felt excited when he learned that his parents had decided to spend a vacation at the aquarium. They walked along the ponds and watched fish of different types. However, among all the fish ponds, only one attracted special attention from Nico. It was the one where the divers swam, played with the fish, and placed various obstacles for them. He watched the diver playing with the fish instead of thinking something was wrong. The little boy noticed something strange in the diver's gaze, something he couldn't understand. What aroused his suspicions was the sneakiness behind it. Nico couldn't take his eyes off the scene. He held the glass of the fish tank that was supposed to be there, and behind him, there loomed a real monster. Everyone was shocked by what they saw, and he told one of the employees about it. But after strict examinations, they were unable to find any trace of the mysterious monster. The outcome of this matter is uncertain. You have to admit that if it weren't for the person who took a photo of the monster in the water, we would have never believed the child and considered him an inventor afterward. Slender Man is portrayed as a tall, slim figure with unusually long limbs, always garbed in a black suit and lacking a discernible face. Legend has it that he manipulates and kidnaps children for his amusement. The unidentified person starts appearing in the victim's dreams, causing distress by sending terrifying visions and inducing hallucinations when he emerges in them. The man emerges from the woods and approaches a person. This scenario is quite frightening, especially when applied to a fictional character. Now imagine if it were captured on film. Children playing and jumping on a trampoline, having fun. Suddenly, by accident, the photographer notices the Slender Man standing in the back of the yard. The motionless monster watches the children, seemingly contemplating kidnapping them. Fortunately, the children and their parents noticed the figure and hid before anyone saw it. What is puzzling is that there is no evidence to suggest that the footage was edited. Is the legendary Slender Man real, or is it a product of skillful video editing? When it comes to Slender Man, there is another video that baffles viewers at first glance. It shows a typical city and low-rise houses outside the window of the person filming. Suddenly, something unexplainable occurs. From above, a large, elongated figure appears, moving downward in a sweeping motion. Despite the intriguing nature of the video, nobody seems to notice the figure except for the person behind the camera. Over 100 residents were questioned, including those who were outside at the time, and none of them saw the mysterious figure. This leaves us with two possibilities. Either the video is fake, or Slender Man made a conscious effort to conceal himself and was only captured in this footage. When it comes to classic cameras, they send videos to the cloud and transfer them to platforms like Google Maps. It is relatively easy to avoid them through digital manipulation, with ghosts and other creatures being used to camouflage something. However, there have been instances of people capturing ghostly figures in photos. In a particular photo, two ghostly figures can be seen in a cemetery, making it challenging to notice what was happening from such a distance. One figure was hiding behind a tree and appeared to be photographing a young girl, while another figure stood further behind the fence, with the entire silhouette and their legs and bodies visible. What could have caused these ghosts to appear? Were they visiting acquaintances, or were they buried in the cemetery? It is expected that a thorough investigation of death records may shed light on the matter, although it's uncertain whether anyone would take on that task. Interestingly, residents have reported experiencing strange feelings when entering the cemetery. It's like as if someone was breathing into their ears, watching them, and burning them with a piercing gaze. It seems that the sewer comes in second place after the cemetery, where you can encounter evil spirits. It's a quiet and completely dark place, making it an ideal location for monsters. A photographer ventured into the tunnel and heard someone's footsteps, assuming it was another explorer. Instead, he captured a frightening silhouette of a giant, unknown monster in the distance. Something moved around the corner and vanished behind the wall. Despite searching, the man couldn't locate it. Deciding to head home, he wanted to avoid anything more terrifying happening. It often appears to me that while some individuals may recognize the reality of alien invasions on Earth, society as a whole remains unaware. If aliens were to land in a heavily populated city right in the center, there would be no doubt in anyone's mind. Surprisingly, this actually occurred in history in the year 1977, when Britain experienced one of its earliest air raids. Was this a lie, or was it the person who called himself the representative of the Galactic League that caused the news show to pause for 6 minutes? This incident led to a public apology from the TV station, but the mystery of who this person was and how he managed to interrupt the show remained unsolved. Despite efforts from people all over the world, no one was able to clarify this invasion, and it remains unresolved even after 45 years have passed. The creature filmed in the desert has unclear intentions. The desert seemed like the perfect place due to the lack of people, cameras, or other distractions. In general, it would be easy to land there, complete the work, and return to another planet. Despite the efforts to conceal it, it was visible. A photographer, with keen eyes, managed to capture a spaceship landing on the sand just before an extraterrestrial being descended to Earth. Shortly after, the ship swiftly ascended into the sky at the speed of light, while the creature remained on the ground. After the movement, the monster either returned or became invisible for about 2 seconds. The cameras stopped filming at this point for logical reasons. This footage is considered high quality and fragmentary in the history of modern ufology, but disputes over its authenticity continue to this day. As usual, there are more questions than answers. Let's talk about the real horror: clowns. Who says they are wonderful and cute and can make children happy? In my opinion, all they can do is scare them. There was a man driving his car in the city at night when he suddenly saw a creepy clown carrying balloons and holding a sign that said, "Free hugs." I would never hug a strange clown like that. The man did the right thing by stepping on the gas when the clown started approaching him. Meeting a clown on the street or near a store is completely different from having one at your house. The doorbell camera captured some scary footage. A clown appeared in front of the house at night. The strange man stared at the door and windows for a while. Then, he suddenly ran away. It's hard to imagine how unsettling it would be for the homeowners to review this footage. Here's another creepy clown venturing out for work at night. Regarding this footage, it's even creepier. While one clown was moving around and generally looking like a crazy person, another clown stood motionless outside a house, staring at one spot. It quickly starts by turning on a light, as if inviting people from the house to come out. They went to the old county jail building and brought along a camera and a light. They aimed to film the spooky place at night and play ghost hunters. Little did they know, they got more than they bargained for. As the man walked past a cell, something appeared to pass by the window. He didn't notice it at the time, but the event was captured. When he saw the recording, he was shocked. In the reflection, you can see some outlines that resemble a human face. It's not a reflection of the man in the photo. The outlines are very sharp. What could it be then? Some people have suggested that it is the ghost of an inmate who died in this prison. The ghost appears to be examining the man like prisoners examine new arrivals to the cell. To me, it's a good theory. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Like someone was staring at you? Do you know this feeling? Who knows? Maybe you are being watched right now. Perhaps someone is looking through the window of your house, just like the man who filmed a strange and scary person staring at his house window at night. This wasn't the first time. According to the videographer, the person had been watching him for 3 nights in a row. It was unsettling. In my opinion, this video is the scariest. A girl wakes up to realize that a strange man has been watching her for a long time. He was peering around the corner of the house into her bedroom. Earlier, he had also rang her doorbell upon realizing he was being filmed. He left. If you are at home, look through the window or peephole. Maybe someone is watching you. It could be worse. Perhaps no one is outside your door or under the windows, but they are still watching you. There's a possibility that someone is hiding in your house. Maybe somebody has been living in your house for days or weeks without your knowledge. It sounds crazy, but it happens. Meet Joe, a man who recently installed a surveillance camera in his kitchen. He did so after noticing that his belongings were being moved around, food was vanishing, and strange occurrences were taking place. Joe's intuition was spot on. In the middle of the night, the camera captured a girl coming down from the ceiling. She crept very carefully and quietly into the kitchen, ate, and then left. She was thirsty and almost got caught when Joe came into the kitchen, so she had to hide immediately. Once she finished, she went back upstairs. This is somewhat like the movie Parasite. It's unbelievable that strangers can live in a house that they don't even know. But the story ended well. Joe watched the video and called the police. The unhappy neighbor who lived in a small room in the attic was arrested. The following video captured a bizarre scene in a park. A couple driving through the park came across dozens of people frozen in place. Some were next to trees, others on the road, and some in the middle of the grass. It appeared as though they were frozen and not moving. There were no signs of a film crew, no cameras, lights, or microphones. What could have caused this strange occurrence? Could it be a glitch in the Matrix, a form of mass worship, a shared delusion, or an unexplainable phenomenon? What are your thoughts? The scene is set in an ordinary Japanese office where a girl is working peacefully. Suddenly, papers unnaturally fall from another desk, but the girl does not seem to be concerned. However, the situation takes a dark turn when real horror begins to unfold. The chairs started to move by themselves. The girl jumped, trying to escape, but she immediately fell. Suddenly, something pulled her into the darkness. It's not clear what happened to her or what it was, but according to one story, that night the girl encountered a yokai, a supernatural being from Japanese mythology. You might think that fear only comes out at night, but something unexplainable can happen in broad daylight too. In this footage taken in Vietnam with a surveillance camera, we see an ordinary courtyard. The picture was static, but suddenly something appeared in the frame. Some dark and barely visible anomalies swept the path and disappeared behind. What was this? Could there be a defect in the camera itself, or are we dealing with something completely different and inexplicable? Hey, let's take a break from the supernatural and check out this video that everyone's talking about. The person filming heard some squeaking noises coming from the ceiling and decided to investigate. To their surprise, they discovered a huge snake slithering out from the ceiling. The man immediately called for rescuers and started filming everything. It was difficult to get him out, so the rescuers began to dismantle the ceiling. Suddenly, one of the rescuers accidentally hit the ceiling and it broke. To everyone's surprise, they discovered not one, but two huge reticulated snakes. The snakes in question are not venomous, but they are the longest on the planet. Their length ranges from 4 to 5 meters, making them quite formidable. This unexpected development surprised and frightened everyone, but thankfully everything turned out okay. The smaller snake was caught, and the larger one managed to escape to a nearby abandoned house. However, the troublemaker was eventually captured. A group of friends decided to explore an old abandoned building. Armed with flashlights and a camera, they started to wander around the dark and eerie house. When one of the men entered a hallway and aimed his camera at the ceiling, hoping to capture the image of a chandelier, he noticed something unexpected. Upon closer inspection of the footage, they saw what appeared to be a strange creature wearing a mask, resembling a mix between an alien and a ghost. The friends couldn't help but imagine the terror they would have experienced if they had noticed the terrifying face while exploring the deserted building. Two friends, Will and Bryson, were hanging out at home when they suddenly looked out the window and saw a strange figure in the nearby forest. The boys quickly grabbed a camera and ran to film the unusual object. They separated briefly and lost sight of it, but soon the object reappeared. It was mysterious to see a figure slowly walking between the trees. Its appearance was truly terrifying. Interestingly, 2 years later, they noticed the same figure in the forest while playing with the dog, but this time it disappeared quickly. Then the video stopped. It was probably the same creature with a dark black color and long limbs. But what or who could it be? Was it Slenderman, Chupacabra, Bigfoot, or just a strange person who enjoys scaring children? Lastly, I recommend watching this video, but be cautious as it might be disturbing. There will be no ghosts or strange creatures, just a man who can turn his head approximately 180 degrees. It seems as impressive as if he did not. Incredible and very scary. Imagine meeting a man like this late at night. How could his neck not be broken? That's all. Tell me in the comments which clip is the creepiest. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.